"Excuse me? You cannot be in here. Staff entrance is that way. Move along." Jennifer Hayes snapped her fingers twice like summoning a dog, her voice echoing through the marble lobby of the Meridian Grand Hotel. She stepped directly into Damon Williams' path, her body language screaming authority and disdain. "I don't know how you got past security, but this is a 5-star establishment." Her manicured finger jabbed toward a side door marked "Staff Only," while her other hand waved dismissively. "Guests are complaining about the situation." The dozen white business travelers stopped mid-conversation. Phones lifted. Whispers started. Jennifer's performance was deliberate. Humiliation as public spectacle. The man, Damon Williams, 38, adjusted his leather briefcase and checked his Rolex. The conference started in 57 minutes. He'd built empires in less time. But Jennifer Hayes had no idea who she was really talking to. Have you ever been judged by your appearance before anyone bothered to learn who you really are? Damon Williams stood perfectly still, his tailored suit impeccable despite the assault. He adjusted his leather briefcase, monogrammed DW in gold, and glanced at his phone. 2:03 p.m., 57 minutes until the Pinnacle Industries Board meeting. "Ma'am, I'm here for the executive conference in the Aspen Room," he said, his voice steady as granite. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding." Jennifer's laugh was sharp and theatrical. "Executive conference?" She turned to address the growing crowd of onlookers. "Did everyone hear that? He thinks he's here for the board meeting." A security guard materialized, thick-necked, hand already moving toward his radio. "Problem here, Ms. Hayes?" "This gentleman seems confused about where he belongs," Jennifer announced, her voice carrying across the marble expanse. "The Pinnacle Industries meeting is invitation only, for actual executives." In the corner, 24-year-old Sarah Bennett pulled out her phone. She'd seen enough workplace discrimination to recognize the signs. Her finger found Instagram Live. "Hotel manager racially profiling black businessman," she typed quickly, angling her camera toward the confrontation. The viewer count climbed, 12, 47, 89 people watching. Damon checked his phone again. A text from his assistant, Michael. "Boardroom setup complete. Catering arrived. Shall I come down?" He typed back, "No need, handle the setup. I'll be there shortly." Jennifer noticed the expensive phone, the confident posture, the way Damon seemed completely unbothered by her theatrics. It irritated her further. "Look, I don't know what game you're playing," she continued, her voice rising. "But this is a respectable establishment. We have protocols, standards." "I understand," Damon replied. "You're protecting your guests' experience. I respect that." His calm response seemed to infuriate her more. The security guard stepped closer. "Sir, we can escort you out quietly or this gets complicated," the guard said, his hand now openly resting on his radio. Sarah's live stream viewer count jumped, 156, 201, 278. Comments flooded in. "This is disgusting. Call the news. Sue them into the ground. What hotel is this?" She whispered into her phone. "This man is being harassed for literally standing in a hotel lobby. He's done nothing wrong except exist while black." An assistant manager appeared, young, nervous, clearly hoping to de-escalate. He whispered urgently in Jennifer's ear. She waved him away. "I've been doing this for 15 years, Jennifer announced to no one in particular. "I know troublemakers when I see them." Damon's phone buzzed again. This time, the caller ID read Chairman Williams in bold letters. He glanced at it, then declined the call. Jennifer caught a glimpse of the screen but couldn't make out the details. "Busy day?" she asked sarcastically. "Always," Damon replied. The lobby had become a theater. Business travelers clustered in groups, whispering behind hands. The concierge pretended to organize brochures while straining to listen. Two elderly women at the elevator bank had stopped to watch, disgust clear on their faces. One of them, an elderly black woman with silver hair, approached slowly. "Excuse me, young man," she said to Damon. "Is there a problem here?" Jennifer whirled around. "Ma'am, this doesn't concern you. Please return to your business." "My business," the woman replied icily, "is watching a hotel manager embarrass herself and this establishment." She pulled out her own phone. "My granddaughter runs a blog about black stories and real-life stories like this." Sarah's live stream exploded. 423 viewers. She pivoted the camera to capture Jennifer's face clearly. "The manager's name is Jennifer Hayes," Sarah announced to her audience. "Meridian Grand Hotel, downtown. She's about to learn a very expensive lesson about assumptions." Jennifer's head snapped toward Sarah. "Ma'am, please don't interfere with hotel security matters." "I'm not interfering," Sarah called back. "I'm documenting." The assistant manager, David, tried again, tugging at Jennifer's sleeve. She shook him off violently. "Get back to work, David. I can handle one confused individual." David's face reddened. He'd seen the corporate sensitivity training videos. This was exactly what they warned against. His job could be on the line, too. "Jennifer," he whispered urgently. "Maybe we should—" "I said handle it!" she snapped. Damon opened his briefcase, just slightly. Inside, Jennifer could see thick manila folders, official-looking documents with corporate letterheads. She caught a glimpse of numbers, $10,000 and $200,000 written in bold across one page. "Fake contracts," she muttered, but uncertainty crept into her voice. "I'm sorry?" Damon asked politely. "Nothing." Jennifer's confidence wavered for just a moment. Then she rallied. "Look, sir, I don't care what props you brought. The Pinnacle Industries meeting is for board members and senior executives only. You're clearly neither." Damon's phone buzzed with another text. "Sir, the other board members are asking about your ETA. Should I tell them you're handling something downstairs? Michael." This time, Jennifer saw the message clearly. Her face went pale, then flushed red. "Who is Michael?" she demanded. "My assistant," Damon replied simply. The security guard shifted uncomfortably. 3 hotel staff members now surrounded Damon: Jennifer, the guard, and the nervous assistant manager. The optics were terrible, and everyone knew it. Behind them, a businessman in an expensive suit shook his head. "This is exactly the kind of touching stories my wife talks about. Systemic racism hiding in plain sight." His companion nodded. "My company would never do business with a place that treats people like this." Sarah's live stream hit 500 viewers. The comments section had become a torrent of outrage. "This is 2024, not 1954. Get their corporate number. Post this everywhere. That man has more class than all of them combined. These are the life stories that need to be shared." Jennifer sensed the tide turning. The crowd's murmurs had shifted from curious to disgusted, but she'd gone too far to back down now. "I'm calling the police," she announced, pulling out her own phone. "Trespassing charges." Damon checked his watch. 2:13 p.m., 47 minutes until his meeting. He'd given her every opportunity to handle this professionally. Time for a different approach. "Ms. Hayes," he said quietly, "before you make that call, perhaps you'd like to see something." His hand moved toward his briefcase again. This time, he opened it fully. The briefcase opened like a revelation. Inside, Jennifer glimpsed official documents with corporate seals, leather-bound portfolios, and what appeared to be legal contracts. But before she could read any details, Damon closed it again. "What was that?" she demanded, her voice cracking slightly. "Documentation," Damon replied calmly. "For my meeting." Jennifer's phone buzzed in her hand, a notification from the hotel's social media monitoring app. The Meridian Grand was being mentioned across platforms. Her face went ashen as she scrolled through increasingly angry posts. "This is getting out of hand," David whispered urgently. "Jennifer, corporate is going to—" "Shut up, David!" she snapped, but her confidence was crumbling. The crowd had grown larger. Someone had called over friends. The elderly black woman was now FaceTiming with someone, providing live commentary. Sarah's live stream hit 847 viewers. The comments were brutal. Boycott Meridian hotels. This is why we need these real-life stories documented. Share this everywhere. Get the corporate number. That manager is done. A new voice cut through the chaos. What's happening here? Everyone turned. A tall woman in an expensive blazer approached, Patricia Morrison, the hotel's regional director. She'd been having lunch upstairs when her phone exploded with alerts. Jennifer's face went white. Patricia, I was just handling a situation, Patricia finished coldly, taking in the scene. A well-dressed black man surrounded by hotel staff, phones recording from every angle, and her general manager looking increasingly unhinged. Ma'am, Damon addressed Patricia directly. I'm Damon Williams. I have a 3:00 p.m. board meeting in your Aspen conference room. There seems to be some confusion about my right to be in your lobby. Patricia's eyes widened slightly at the name, but she couldn't place it immediately. Mr. Williams, I apologize for any inconvenience. Jennifer, what exactly is the issue here? He claims he's here for the Pinnacle Industries meeting, Jennifer said, her voice defensive. But he doesn't look like... he doesn't have proper credentials. Doesn't look like what exactly? Patricia asked, her voice dangerously quiet. The question hung in the air like a blade. Jennifer realized her mistake immediately. That's not what I meant, she backtracked. I meant he doesn't have a meeting badge or... Meeting badges aren't issued until check-in, Patricia cut her off, which happens in the conference room, not in the lobby. Sarah angled her phone to capture this new development. Her viewers had exploded to over 1,200. Comments poured in faster than she could read them. The regional director just showed up. Watch Jennifer try to save her job. This man's about to own this hotel. These are the black soul stories we need to hear. Damon checked his phone. 2:18 p.m. 42 minutes until his meeting. Another text from Michael. Board members arriving. Should I delay the start time? He typed back. Proceed as scheduled. I'll be there momentarily. Patricia noticed the expensive phone, the confident posture, the way Damon seemed completely unbothered by the chaos around him. Her instincts, honed by 20 years in hospitality, screamed that Jennifer had made a catastrophic error. Mr. Williams, she said carefully, may I ask which company you represent? Before Damon could answer, Jennifer interrupted. He won't say. That's the problem. He's being evasive. I haven't been evasive, Damon replied evenly. I simply haven't been asked the right questions. The security guard, Tony, shifted uncomfortably. He'd seen enough discrimination lawsuits to know this was heading nowhere good. His radio crackled. Tony, what's your status? We're getting calls about some incident in the lobby. Still handling it, he replied, but his tone suggested he wanted no part of whatever this was becoming. A new complication arrived. 2 teenagers with smartphones, live streaming on TikTok. They'd heard about the incident through Sarah's Instagram and come to witness the drama firsthand. Oh my God, is this the racist hotel manager everyone's talking about? One of them said loudly, not bothering to whisper. Jennifer spun around. Excuse me? I am not racist. This is a security matter. Then why are you only harassing the black guy? The teenager shot back. That white dude over there doesn't have a meeting badge either. She pointed to a businessman reading a newspaper near the elevators. Jennifer hadn't even noticed him. Patricia pinched the bridge of her nose. This was escalating beyond any training manual. Social media was exploding. Her general manager was having a public breakdown, and she still didn't fully understand what had triggered this disaster. Everyone needs to calm down, Patricia announced. Mr. Williams, I'm going to personally escort you to your meeting. Jennifer, we need to talk, privately. I'm not going anywhere, Jennifer said stubbornly. This man is trespassing, and I won't be intimidated by some social media mob. It was the wrong thing to say. The crowd's murmur turned angry. Social media mob? Sarah called out. We're documenting discrimination. Ma'am, the elderly black woman addressed Patricia, I've been staying at hotels for 60 years. I've never seen anything this shameful. My granddaughter blogs about life stories like this. Real stories about how black people are treated. This will be front-page material." Patricia felt the weight of corporate liability settling on her shoulders. Discrimination lawsuits could cost millions. The bad publicity alone could tank their stock price. Damon's phone rang. This time, he answered. "Yes, Michael? No, just a minor delay. Yes, tell Mr. Bennett that traffic was heavier than expected. I'll be up shortly." He hung up and looked directly at Patricia. "Ms. Morrison, I appreciate your intervention. However, I have 11 board members waiting for me upstairs. Perhaps we could resolve this after my meeting?" Patricia blinked. 11 board members? "Pinnacle Industries board meeting," Damon confirmed. "Scheduled for 3:00 p.m. Something clicked in Patricia's memory. Pinnacle Industries. Massive account. Their biggest corporate client. She'd seen the CEO's name on contracts but never met him in person. Her phone buzzed with a text from her assistant. "Emergency. Check the Pinnacle Industries file. CEO name, Damon Williams. Contract renewal today." The blood drained from Patricia's face. Jennifer, oblivious to her boss's revelation, pressed on. "See? He's making it up as he goes along. 11 board members, please." "Jennifer," Patricia said quietly, "stop talking." "I will not stop talking. This is my hotel, and Stop talking!" Patricia shouted, loud enough to echo through the lobby. The sudden outburst silenced everyone. Sarah's live stream viewers hit 1,500. The teenagers' TikToks were gaining traction. The elderly woman's granddaughter was probably already writing her blog post. Patricia turned to Damon, her face pale with dawning horror. "Mr. Williams," she said carefully, "are you by any chance the CEO of Pinnacle Industries?" Damon smiled for the first time since this ordeal began. It wasn't a pleasant smile. "I am." The lobby fell silent, except for the sound of Jennifer's world collapsing. The silence stretched like a held breath. Patricia Morrison's face cycled through disbelief, horror, and resignation in rapid succession. Jennifer, still oblivious to the magnitude of her mistake, looked confused by everyone's sudden stillness. "CEO?" Jennifer laughed shakily. "He's lying. I told you he was—" "Jennifer." Patricia's voice could have frozen molten steel. "What is Pinnacle Industries' annual contract value with our hotel chain?" Jennifer blinked rapidly. What does that have to do with—" "Answer the question." 10.2 million, Jennifer mumbled. "Renewable every 5 years. And when is the current contract up for renewal?" The question hung in the air like an executioner's blade. Jennifer's face went white as understanding began to dawn. "Today," she whispered. Sarah's live stream exploded with activity. Viewers had climbed to over 2,000, and the comments were moving too fast to read. Someone had shared the stream to Reddit, where it was rapidly climbing the front page of multiple subreddits. "Holy plot twist! She just lost her $10 million hotel. This is better than Netflix. Record everything. Black excellence right here." Damon reached into his briefcase again, this time pulling out a thick manila folder. He opened it deliberately, letting everyone see the official Pinnacle Industries letterhead. "The renewal meeting," he said quietly, "was scheduled to be a formality, a simple signature ceremony." Patricia felt her knees go weak. She grabbed the concierge desk for support. "Was?" she croaked. Damon turned the contract around so Jennifer could see it clearly. Her name was printed at the bottom under Hotel Contact General Manager. Above it, in bold letters, Damon P. Williams, Chief Executive Officer, Pinnacle Industries. Jennifer's hands shook as she read. The contract detailed everything. 847 room nights per quarter, average rate of $340 per night, exclusive catering arrangements, conference room rentals, and corporate event hosting. The numbers swam before her eyes. The elderly black woman stepped closer, adjusting her glasses to read over Jennifer's shoulder. "Lord have mercy," she muttered. That's more money than some small towns see in a year. And you just threw it away because of what? The color of his skin? This can't be real, Jennifer whispered, her voice breaking. Damon pulled out his phone and dialed a number. The call connected immediately. Michael, can you put me on speaker with the board? A moment later, voices could be heard through the phone's speaker. Damon, where are you? We're ready to start. Slight delay, gentlemen. I'm handling a customer service issue in the lobby. Michael, can you read our contingency clause regarding contract cancellation due to discrimination? Michael's voice came through clearly. Section 12.3. Either party may terminate this agreement immediately if discrimination based on race, gender, religion, or other protected status is experienced by any Pinnacle Industries employee or representative at Meridian Properties. The lobby went dead silent. Even the teenagers stopped their TikTok commentary. David, the assistant manager, slumped against the wall like he'd been punched. Jennifer staggered backward. No, no, no. This is a misunderstanding. I was just doing my job. Your job, Damon interrupted, was to provide hospitality to hotel guests and business clients. Instead, you chose to publicly humiliate me based on your assumptions about what a CEO should look like. Patricia found her voice. Mr. Williams, please. There must be something we can do to resolve this. Jennifer made a mistake, but... A mistake? The elderly black woman stepped forward, her phone still recording. Honey, this wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. I watched the whole thing, the finger snapping, the demands, the threats. That woman treated this man like he was nothing. Her voice carried the weight of decades. I've seen this story too many times, black men and women being told they don't belong, being questioned, being made to prove their worth. These are the real-life stories that need telling. One of the teenagers piped up, My TikTok has 50,000 views already. People are posting this everywhere. Meridian racism is trending. Sarah's Instagram Live had ballooned to over 3,000 viewers. She pivoted her camera to capture everyone's faces as the full scope of the disaster became clear. Folks, we are witnessing one of the most expensive acts of discrimination in hotel history, she narrated. This manager just cost her hotel over $10 million because she couldn't see past her own bias. This is exactly the kind of touching story our community needs to discuss. Damon's phone buzzed with a text from Michael. Sir, the board is asking if we should start looking at the Hilton proposal instead. He held up the phone so Patricia could see the message. Her face went even whiter. The Hilton proposal? She asked, weakly. Our backup option, Damon explained. When you're dealing with this much money, you always have alternatives. The Hilton downtown has been very eager to earn our business. A businessman near the elevators overheard and approached. Excuse me, are you Damon Williams from Pinnacle Industries? Damon nodded. Robert Bennett, Bennett Financial Services. We've been trying to get a meeting with your company for months. If you're looking at changing venues... He handed Damon a business card. We host all our events at the Hilton. Excellent service. No complications. The circle of potential loss widened. Jennifer watched helplessly as her professional world crumbled in real time. Jennifer finally seemed to grasp the full magnitude of what was happening. But I can fix this. Mr. Williams, I sincerely apologize. I was wrong. Completely wrong. Please don't cancel the contract. Ms. Hayes, Damon replied. How many other people have you treated this way? How many other black professionals have been humiliated in your lobby while I wasn't here to witness it? The question hung heavy in the air. Jennifer opened and closed her mouth like a fish, unable to form words. Tony, the security guard, cleared his throat uncomfortably. Actually, sir, there was an incident last month. A young black woman said she was here for a job interview. Jennifer made me check her credentials 3 times before... Shut up, Tony, Jennifer hissed. But the damage was done. Damon's expression hardened. So this isn't an isolated incident. A hotel guest who'd been quietly observing spoke up. I saw her do something similar to a black family last week. Made them prove they had a reservation before she'd let them check in. Other guests just walked right up to the counter. Patricia stepped between them desperately. "Mr. Williams, I give you my word this behavior will stop immediately. Jennifer will receive sensitivity training. We'll implement new protocols." Protocols? Damon pulled out another document from his briefcase. "Do you know what this is?" Patricia shook her head. "It's a signed letter of intent from the Hilton. They've agreed to match every term of our current contract plus a 15% discount on all services. I was planning to use it as leverage in today's negotiations." He paused, letting that sink in. "But now I'm thinking their proposal might be our best option." The live stream comments went wild. "He had a backup plan all along. Chess moves only. This man is a genius. Jennifer is so fired. This is why these stories need to be told." Patricia's phone started ringing incessantly. Corporate headquarters, the board of directors, the media relations department. Word was spreading fast. A news van pulled up outside. Someone had called the local station. The story was breaking beyond social media. "Sir," Patricia pleaded, "what would it take to save this relationship?" Damon looked around the lobby, at Jennifer's tear-stained face, at Tony shifting uncomfortably, at David looking like he wanted to disappear into the floor. He saw the phones recording, the growing crowd of witnesses, the social media storm brewing in real time. "That's an interesting question," he said finally. "But first, I think Ms. Hayes owes an apology. Not to me, I'm fine, but to everyone who witnessed this spectacle, to the people watching these live streams, to every black professional who's been made to feel unwelcome in spaces they have every right to occupy." Jennifer looked around desperately. Hundreds of eyes stared back at her, in person and through phone screens. The weight of her actions was crushing. I'm sorry," she stammered. "I was wrong, completely wrong. I let my assumptions cloud my judgment. I humiliated an innocent man, and I embarrassed this hotel. I'm sorry to everyone who had to witness this." The apology felt hollow, forced, but it was a start. The elderly woman shook her head sadly. "Apologies are just words, child. What matters is what changes." Damon nodded slowly. "Exactly. Apologies are important, but they're just words. What matters is what happens next." He pulled out his phone and typed a quick message to Michael. "Delay the meeting by 30 minutes. We need to have a different conversation first." Then he looked directly at Patricia. "I'm going to make you an offer. One chance to keep this contract, but it comes with conditions. Non-negotiable conditions." Patricia nodded eagerly. "Anything? We'll see about that." The real power play was just beginning. Damon opened his briefcase one final time and pulled out a thick document labeled Corporate Diversity and Inclusion Requirements, Draft. "I had my legal team prepare this last night," he said, his voice cutting through the tension like a scalpel. "It's a comprehensive framework for eliminating discrimination in hospitality settings." Patricia's hands trembled as she accepted the document. The cover page alone was intimidating. Mandatory Implementation Protocol for Pinnacle Industries Partnership Renewal. Mandatory training, accountability measures, guest feedback systems, and financial penalties for violations, Damon continued. "If Meridian Hotels wants to keep our business, you'll implement every single requirement. No exceptions, no modifications." Jennifer's face had gone from white to green. "What kind of requirements?" Damon flipped to page 3. "Monthly unconscious bias training for all staff. Diversity metrics tied to management bonuses. Independent audits every quarter. Guest discrimination reporting through anonymous digital systems." Patricia scanned the document, her corporate instincts calculating costs. "These requirements, they're extensive. The training alone would cost approximately $340,000 annually across your hotel chain," Damon finished. I had my CFO run the numbers. It's exactly 3.3% of what you make from our contract. The precision of his preparation was staggering. Sarah's live stream audience had swelled to over 4,500 viewers. Comments flooded in praising his methodical approach. This man came prepared. Corporate accountability in real time. Every black business owner should take notes. This is how you create systemic change. And Ms. Hayes here will be the test case, Damon added, his gaze settling on Jennifer. Test case? Jennifer's voice cracked. A 90-day diversity immersion program. You'll shadow employees from different backgrounds. You'll undergo bias testing. You'll attend community forums about hospitality discrimination, and you'll write a monthly reflection report. Jennifer staggered backward. I can't. My schedule, my responsibilities will be managed by your assistant manager during your training, Damon replied smoothly. David seems capable. David straightened up, surprised to be acknowledged. For the first time since this ordeal began, someone had noticed his competence. Patricia flipped through more pages. The requirements were thorough: customer service audits, sensitivity training certificates, bias interruption protocols, and community partnership programs. This is a complete overhaul of our operations, she said weakly. Yes, it is, Damon agreed. The question is whether you value our $10.2 million annual contract enough to change how you do business. His phone buzzed with another text from Michael. Sir, Hilton just called. They're prepared to sign today if needed. Should I schedule a meeting? Damon showed the message to Patricia. Her face went ashen. They're serious about the alternative, she whispered. Dead serious, Damon confirmed. Plus, they're offering some interesting incentives. A dedicated concierge service, upgraded suites for all executives, and priority booking during conference season. The elderly black woman stepped closer to read over Patricia's shoulder. Looks like someone finally put together a real plan for change instead of just pretty words. Tony, the security guard, cleared his throat. Mr. Williams, sir, about that incident I mentioned earlier. Yes? The young woman was interviewing for our diversity coordinator position. Jennifer made her wait in the lobby for 2 hours and said she needed to verify her credentials with HR. The girl was so humiliated she withdrew her application. Jennifer spun around. That's not what happened. I was following protocol. What protocol requires checking credentials for an internal interview? Damon asked quietly. Silence. Patricia rubbed her temples. The liability exposure was becoming clearer by the minute. Mr. Williams, if we agree to these terms, what assurance do we have that similar incidents won't affect our relationship? Smart question, Damon replied. Page 12 outlines the escalation procedures. The first incident triggers mandatory retraining. The second incident results in contract review. The third incident terminates our partnership immediately. 3 strikes, Sarah narrated to her live stream. That's fair, but firm. These black soul stories always show the power of giving people chances to grow. Patricia's phone rang. The caller ID showed corporate legal. She declined the call, but it rang again immediately. You should probably take that, Damon suggested. Patricia stepped aside and answered. Her side of the conversation was audible. Yes, I'm aware of the situation. No, we haven't lost the contract yet. I understand the implications. When she returned, her expression was grim. Legal wants to settle this quietly. They're offering a substantial compensation package. For what? Damon asked. For the discrimination incident, to avoid litigation. Damon's laugh was dry. I'm not suing anyone, Ms. Morrison. I'm offering you a business opportunity. The choice is yours. Jennifer found her voice again. What if I refuse the training program? Then you'll be seeking employment elsewhere, Damon replied simply. And Pinnacle Industries will work with whatever manager Meridian assigns to our account, assuming they choose to accept our terms. The teenager with the TikTok account piped up. This is going viral on every platform. Hashtag Meridian Racism has 89,000 mentions already. Her friend added, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even LinkedIn. Someone posted it on their company Slack and it's spreading through corporate America. Patricia felt the weight of public scrutiny crushing down. Stock prices, board meetings, investor calls. This was spiraling beyond a simple customer service issue. What about the media attention? She asked desperately. This story is everywhere. That's entirely up to how you handle the next hour, Damon replied. If you accept our partnership terms, the story becomes one of progressive corporate leadership. If you decline, it becomes a cautionary tale about the cost of discrimination. A businessman who had been quietly observing approached them. Excuse me, Mr. Williams. I'm Robert Bennett from Bennett Financial Services. We've been trying to arrange a meeting with Pinnacle Industries for months. Damon nodded politely. If you're considering changing venues, we host all our corporate events at the Hilton downtown. Exceptional service, and they've never given us any complications. Robert handed Damon his business card, then looked pointedly at Jennifer. Some establishments understand that diversity is good for business. The circle of potential loss was widening. Patricia watched helplessly as networking opportunities slipped away in real time. Sarah zoomed in on Jennifer's face with her phone camera. The manager looks like she's about to make a decision. What's it going to be, Jennifer? Jennifer looked around the lobby, at the phones recording, the crowd watching, the corporate document that could save or end her career. The weight of her choices was crushing. I'll do it, she whispered. The training program. I'll do whatever it takes. Excellent, Damon said. Patricia, what about the organizational changes? Patricia looked at the document again. The numbers were substantial, but losing Pinnacle would be catastrophic. Plus, 17 other major clients would be watching how this played out. I need to run this by corporate, but yes, we'll implement the full program. Wonderful. Michael will send over the contract modifications this afternoon. We'll schedule the first quarterly audit for next month. Damon checked his watch. 2:45 p.m., 15 minutes until his meeting. Now there's one final component to our agreement. Patricia's stomach dropped. What's that? Community accountability. Ms. Hayes will personally apologize to every person affected by her previous actions. The job interview candidate. The black family from last week. Anyone else who comes forward? Jennifer's eyes widened. How many people could there be? We'll find out, Damon replied. Social media has a way of connecting people who've shared similar experiences. As if on cue, Sarah's live stream comments exploded with people sharing their own stories. OMG, I had the same experience at this hotel. Jennifer Hayes treated my sister like garbage. Finally, someone with the power to make changes. This is how life stories become transformation stories. The ripple effects were already beginning. Stories of discrimination, witnesses coming forward, a pattern of behavior being exposed in real time. Mr. Williams, Patricia said carefully, this is more than a business contract. You're asking us to fundamentally change our corporate culture. I'm giving you the opportunity to lead an industry transformation, Damon corrected. Other hotel chains will be watching how this unfolds. Pinnacle Industries has partnerships with 17 major hospitality groups. They'll all be interested in our new diversity requirements. The implication was clear. Meridian could be the model for industry change, or they could be left behind. How long do we have to review everything? Patricia asked. Damon gathered his documents and closed his briefcase. You have until I finish my board meeting upstairs. About 90 minutes. After that, Michael will formalize our partnership with Hilton. He stood, adjusting his suit jacket. Jennifer, your training program begins Monday morning. David, you'll be acting general manager during her absence. Patricia, I'll expect your signed commitment by 4:30 p.m. The ultimatum was delivered with quiet authority. No threats, no dramatics, just business. As Damon walked toward the elevators, the lobby remained frozen in stunned silence. The most expensive discrimination incident in hotel history had just become a masterclass in corporate accountability. The elevator doors opened and Damon stepped inside. As they closed, he could hear Sarah addressing her live stream audience. And that, people, is how you turn a moment of injustice into a movement for change. 25 p.m. 5 minutes before Damon's deadline. Patricia Morrison stood outside the Aspen conference room, the signed diversity agreement clutched in her trembling hands. Through the glass doors, she could see Damon Williams conducting his board meeting with quiet authority, 11 executives hanging on his every word. The past 90 minutes had been a whirlwind of corporate phone calls, emergency meetings, and damage control. The Meridian hotel chain's stock had dropped 3% in after-hours trading, as #Meridian. Racism continued trending globally. Jennifer Hayes sat in the lobby, no longer the confident manager who had humiliated a guest 2 hours earlier. She'd spent the afternoon reading testimonials from other victims, a pattern of discrimination that corporate legal was calling systematically problematic. David knocked softly on the conference room door. Damon looked up, nodded, and stepped outside. "Ms. Morrison," he said simply. "Your decision?" Patricia handed him the signed agreement. "We accept all terms. Full implementation begins Monday morning." Damon reviewed the signature page carefully. "Excellent. Jennifer's training program?" "Approved. She starts with Dr. Williams at the Community Justice Center on Monday. No relation to you, I assume?" "None." Damon smiled slightly. "Though Dr. Keisha Williams does excellent work in bias intervention. Jennifer will learn a great deal." Sarah Bennett was still live streaming from the lobby, her audience now over 6,000 viewers. She'd become an accidental journalist, documenting what many were calling the most expensive lesson in corporate accountability ever filmed. "Update from the Meridian Grand," she announced to her phone. "The regional director just went upstairs with signed papers. It looks like this hotel is about to undergo a major transformation." Comments poured in. "Justice served. This is how change happens. Every black business leader should see this. These real-life stories give me hope." The elderly black woman, who'd introduced herself as Mrs. Dorothy Johnson, approached Sarah's camera. "Young lady, I want to say something to your viewers," she said with dignity. "I'm 73 years old. I lived through segregation, the civil rights movement, and decades of progress. What we witnessed today wasn't just about one hotel or one manager." She paused, gathering her thoughts. This was about a black man who had the power to demand respect and used it wisely, not for revenge, but for change. These are the touching stories that need to be preserved. Stories of dignity, strategy, and transformation. Inside the conference room, Damon was wrapping up his board meeting. The contract renewal had been signed, but more importantly, the Pinnacle Industries Board had voted unanimously to implement their new dignity standards across all vendor relationships. 17 hotel chains, 43 restaurants, and 12 event venues, announced board member Catherine Liu. They'll all receive our new diversity requirements by Friday. The ripple effect is already starting, added CFO Michael Torres. 3 competitors have reached out asking about our vendor standards. They want to avoid similar incidents. Damon's phone buzzed with a text from his PR director. CNN wants an interview. Forbes is writing a feature. Harvard Business Review requesting case study analysis. He declined them all with a simple reply. Actions speak louder than interviews. 4:30 p.m. Deadline reached. Damon emerged from the conference room as Patricia waited nervously. Jennifer had been summoned from the lobby, her eyes red from crying and reading victim testimonials. "The agreement is satisfactory," Damon announced. "Contract renewal confirmed. Jennifer, are you prepared for your training program?" Jennifer nodded shakily. "Mr. Williams, I want you to know, reading those stories today, seeing how my actions affected people, I had no idea." "That's exactly why the program exists," Damon replied. "Not to punish, but to educate. You'll spend time with families who've experienced discrimination. You'll learn why assumptions are dangerous, and you'll discover how hospitality can be truly inclusive. Patricia stepped forward. Mr. Williams, on behalf of Meridian Hotels, I want to formally apologize for today's incident. Your professionalism in the face of discrimination has been remarkable. Apologies are appreciated, Damon said, but the real measure will be what happens next. 3 months from now, 6 months from now. Change is a process, not a press release. Sarah's live stream captured this exchange, her comments exploding with approval. Class act! This is how leaders handle injustice. Education over revenge every time. Black soul stories at their finest. Tony, the security guard, approached hesitantly. Mr. Williams, sir, I want to apologize too. I should have questioned what was happening instead of just following orders. Damon studied him for a moment. Tony, right? What's your background in security? 8 years, sir. Military before that. Good. You'll be attending the bias intervention training with Jennifer, not as punishment, but as a leader. Security personnel have a significant influence on guest experiences. Tony straightened up. Yes, sir. I'd appreciate that opportunity. The transformation was happening in real time. Fear was becoming accountability. Shame was becoming education. The crisis was becoming an opportunity. Mrs. Johnson gathered her things, preparing to leave. She stopped at Sarah's live stream one final time. To everyone watching these black stories unfold, she said directly to the camera, remember this day. Remember that change is possible when good people have power and use it responsibly. This young CEO could have destroyed careers and pursued lawsuits. Instead, he chose to build bridges. She looked toward Damon, who was shaking hands with Patricia and David. That's the kind of life story that gives an old woman hope for the future. As the lobby slowly returned to normal, the impact was already spreading far beyond the Meridian Grand. Other hotels were reviewing their policies. Corporate America was taking notes. Social media was sharing the story as an example of constructive change. And in a few hours, Jennifer Hayes would begin a journey that would transform not just her career, but her understanding of what it meant to serve people with dignity and respect. The most expensive discrimination incident in hotel history had become something far more valuable, a roadmap for systemic change. 3 months later. The transformation at Meridian Grand was undeniable. Jennifer Hayes had completed her diversity immersion program and returned as a changed leader. Her monthly reflection reports revealed a journey from defensiveness to understanding, from assumptions to awareness. I met 12 families affected by hospitality discrimination, she wrote in her final report. Each story opened my eyes to the pain caused by my unconscious bias. I understand now that being colorblind isn't enough. We must be actively inclusive. David had excelled as acting general manager and earned a permanent promotion. The hotel's guest satisfaction scores had increased 23%, with particular improvements in feeling welcomed and respectful treatment. Sarah Bennett's original live stream had been viewed over 2.3 million times across platforms. Her documentation of that day launched her career as a social justice journalist, specializing in real-time accountability stories. Mrs. Dorothy Johnson's granddaughter did indeed write that blog post. When power meets purpose, the Meridian Hotel transformation became one of the most shared articles about corporate responsibility in 2025. The Pinnacle Industries model spread industry-wide. 17 hotel chains implemented similar diversity requirements. 43 restaurants adopted dignity standards. The phrase, "What would Damon Williams do?" became shorthand in corporate America for principled leadership under pressure. Most importantly, the stories kept coming. Other victims of workplace discrimination found their voices. Companies proactively reformed policies before incidents occurred. The conversation shifted from damage control to prevention. Damon Williams's impact beyond that day. Pinnacle Industries created a $2 million fund for bias intervention training across the hospitality industry. Their dignity and service certification became the gold standard for customer-facing businesses. 3 universities developed case studies around the incident, teaching future business leaders about constructive crisis management. The Harvard Business Review article, which Damon finally agreed to, became required reading in MBA programs. But perhaps the most meaningful change was personal. Jennifer Hayes now trains other managers in bias recognition. Tony leads security diversity workshops. Patricia Morrison serves on the board of the Community Justice Center. The lasting message. This wasn't just a story about one man's power or one woman's prejudice. It was about the choice we all face when confronted with injustice. Respond with anger or respond with purpose. Damon Williams chose purpose. He used his position not to destroy, but to build. Not to punish, but to educate. Not to divide, but to unite around shared values of dignity and respect. These are the Black soul stories that inspire transformation, touching stories that prove change is possible when courage meets opportunity. Your turn. Have you witnessed discrimination in your workplace, community, or daily life? How did you respond? What would you do differently after hearing this story? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the catalyst someone else needs to speak up, stand up, or step up. Every voice matters. Every story has power. Every person can be an agent of change. If this story moved you, comment with your own experiences of bias or transformation. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Black Soul Stories for more real-life accounts of courage, dignity, and positive change. Hit the notification bell to join our community of changemakers. Together, we're not just telling life stories, we're writing the future. Because when power meets purpose, ordinary moments become extraordinary movements, and movements change the world.